ADHD Babes, the podcast, a podcast hosted by the ADHD Babes community for the community. Please note, nothing mentioned during the podcast is meant as a diagnosis. If you believe you have ADHD, please seek professional advice and visit or join ADHDBabes.com for help with diagnosis. No clinical diagnosis is required to join. And now, you're listening to the next episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast.
Hello, and welcome to a new episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast. Today's episode is hosted by me, and today we're going to be discussing rejection, sensitivity, dysmorphia, and friendship. Joining in on the discussion today, we are joined by our ADHD Babes guests, Chichi and Julez. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So first, it's important to define RSD. RSD stands for Rejection Sensitivity Dysmorphia. RSD is a condition in which a person feels extreme emotional sensitivity and pain due to perceived or actual rejection, teasing, or criticism, according to medical news today. It is a common symptom of ADHD and it can impact our relationships. Today, we will be discussing RSD, how it can impact friendships, and some ways to navigate friendship if you have RSD. So, RSD can manifest in a number of ways. The fear of rejection can make you both reluctant to make deep connections, fearful of being yourself when you do make connections with people. But RSD can also have you overanalyzing both the actions of others, your own actions, and thoughts. RSD can cause you to lash out at perceived slights, be triggered by small changes, people please, and bury your feelings. So, how has RSD manifested for you, Chichi? If it's an ADHD symptom that maybe you have experienced, or maybe you have seen it through someone else.
Yeah, thank you for asking, Anna. And hello again, everyone. So yeah, I do think I experience RSD as an ADHD symptom. And the whole thing when you were saying in the definition about lashing out at perceived slights, being triggered by small changes, people please, bury your feelings. That's me. Check. And yeah, you said it can also have me analyzing both my actions and the actions of others. So that's check for me. Reluctant to make deep connections to some extent, yes. I think that is more apparent for me in intimate relationships or romantic relationships, family relationships, so the really truly close relationships. It's easier to make deep connections with friendships. And the whole fearful of being myself, that has come up a lot in the past. It's getting better. I've been doing a lot of work around that. But yeah, in the past, yes, I think I kept parts of myself hidden. And the thing about it, though, self-awareness has been so important because I didn't even know necessarily that I was doing it at the time.
Yeah.
So yes, so it has definitely something I experience.
Amazing. I say amazing because sometimes we feel that people who probably have ADHD present differently in different ways, and some may have manifested, the RSD, or some don't. Some people can be more confident, while others can be less confident in every sense. And for me, I find it very, very difficult, specifically at work, because I'm always having to mask at work. I can never bring my whole self, because I feel if I did, I'll probably be fired on the spot. But with
Oh
friends,
no.
yeah, no, absolutely. Like I just see the bigger picture in everything. And sometimes, obviously, at work, you have to be very tactful how you say things. You have to think about language. You have to think about who you're addressing and how you're addressing them, not to cause any sort of like conflict. But when you're with friends and family, I think you can be a little bit more relaxed, and specifically if those friends have been around you for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
Um, I think I didn't know about RSD until I actually found out about ADHD and how it was a symptom. So for me, it's something that is quite new. And then when I look back into relationships and interactions with people, I think, oh, that's what it is. That's what it was. Oh my goodness, now I get it. Um, but I feel like the real friendships are built upon the fact that people accept you exactly how you are and you accept them how they are as well.
I totally
So,
agree.
yeah. So that brings me on to a next point. So, seeing all the ways RSD can impact the behavior is no wonder it can actually impact our friendship. According to Psychology Today, friendships have distinctive features that can contribute to well-being. Sharing emotions, thoughts, and activities, trusting your friend, feeling safe, having an emotional bond and feeling affectionate, being transparent, sincere, and honest, maintaining boundaries even while having a relationship. RSD can make being open and vulnerable very challenging and can prevent deep, meaningful connections with your friends. So, Chichi, has RSD impacted your relationship, particularly friendships, at work or in other settings?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to talk about friendships right now. Definitely family relationships. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think that is one of the biggest areas, and romantic relationships, but also friendships. And I'm thinking of a friendship that ended recently for me. And well, it was last year, but still, it's pretty recent. And it was a long friendship. And I was going through a lot, including major ADHD burnout or neurodivergent burnout and a lot of other stuff. However, I think that RSD was part of it because that friend and their partner was just not able to speak to me with love and compassion. And I was staying with them, and I think they were triggered, or I'm pretty sure they were triggered by me. It always takes two. So it's definitely not all me, I'm all them. It's both of us or all three of us. And they're used to using harsh language with each other. And, they're just less sensitive, I think, to words.
Mm.
And actually, I think both of them identify as having ADHD, but they're just, maybe their RSD comes out in different ways. I think they were more triggered by actions and taking my actions personally, thinking that I was doing things that I didn't care about them. And that was just not the case. I was just trying to survive because I was underwater, very much so. But anyway, but what I felt was that the way they talked to me, the way I described it, I felt like they spoke to me like I was shit on their shoe. And
Mm.
I'm very, very, very sensitive to words. I'm hypersensitive to words. And to words and tone, ironically, I seem to be less sensitive to actions.
Yeah.
For a lot of people are like the opposite. But for
Yeah.
me, it's how you talk to me and the tone. It's really hard to believe for me that you like me or you love me if you speak to me without love or what I perceive to be love. I know it's controlling of other people, but I'm just highly sensitive in that way. And so I think And because it was such a long friendship, and I think my friend was influenced obviously by their partner and, a newer partner and all of that. So I think they were trying to like manage me and manage them and all of that. And it was really the partner that spoke to me like crazy, but they never like, noticed or like defended me or anything. It was just the whole situation was horrible and I was dependent on them. The whole thing was a mess. But so the RSD, I think if I hadn't been so sensitive, I would have been able to have the courage to speak up, but I felt unsafe, and very unsafe, to speak up. And I felt threatened, very threatened. And I mean, towards the end, it did turn physical with the partners.
yeah.
So at the very end. But so it's not like my instincts were off. However, I think if I wasn't so hypersensitive to the words and feeling just so rejected, not even by the partner because I didn't really know them, but by my friend, then maybe we would have salvaged the friendship or something, So I think RSD definitely played a role there for me. And I just think of RSD as my hypersensitivity, like right now, to like my words and tone and feeling rejected. Came up a lot with my former partner as well. Just I felt rejected because I don't know whether any people listening can relate to this, but I can feel rejected or feel like just really triggered by words and tone. But I can also feel really triggered by lack of response. So some people, including actually quite a few neurodivergent people, have a flatter affect or they're, people are internal processors. So if I say something to them, they might not respond, not because they're not thinking it, not because they're not thinking about it, but they're just processing it. And I start to feel rejected. I just start to feel like rejected. And then I know I'm doing it and I can't stop and I'm beating myself up. And then I'm like feeling bad, but then I'm also mad at them. Like it sucks. So that happened so much with my former partner, like over texting. Oh my goodness. Oh, please text me. Like, oh, why didn't you text me back? And, and she would be like, we live together. Like, I was like, you don't love, she's like, we live together. What is, and she was very much like, if I don't say something, it means like, so if I live with you, it means I love you.
Right. Yeah.
If I don't say I hate you or I want you to leave, it means and I'm like, no, but you have to tell me all the time, so I didn't know about like RSD then, but that's huge. And then family and yeah.
Absolutely. I rested everything you've said. I rested.
Oh, good.
I personally, I think I've mourned more friendships that I can count in my hands, and now that I look back, I think about those friendships gracefully in a way that they serve their purpose for that particular period of time.
Oh, I like
but
that.
Also, I feel like, but sometimes I feel like, but that situation could have been resolved if I would have known so much about this and that. Because I feel those who do have RSD, I consider myself to have RSD, and we do feel things so much more. Like it just feels so much deeper. And yeah, absolutely. And then I think that with friendships, for example, friends can be like, I can tell you how it is, and if you don't accept it, then when this is not real friendship. But it's like, okay, you're bringing this from a place of love, so can it please feel like you're telling me with love? But it doesn't feel like that. So that's when the flags, because it doesn't feel like you're not telling me with the love and care that it needs to be told. And with partners, like I've lived with my husband for 20 years, and he's exactly as you were saying. Like if he's at home, I see him every day. Um, He doesn't need to text me that he loves me because he shows me it by bringing me stuff from when he comes home. Like he'll bring me a cake or bring me biscuits or he'll bring me something, even if it's a lollipop. Like he's done it like every single day since we've been married.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And to him, that's his love language. So he's like, I've not been physically with you all day, but I have thought of you because look, I bought you this.
Yeah.
But no, because I'm trying to copy other people's relationships. Like, oh, but my best friend's husband is messaging her like every 5 minutes. I just feel rejected because you're not doing the same thing. But then obviously, like he's doing it in a very completely different way, and it took a very long time to understand that, specifically until diagnosis, as I said earlier. And with work, it's even more difficult because whenever I draft a report or whenever I draft a letter or something that I've been asked, I do not like to show my managers what I've drafted, or even when it is in the process of being done, and they like to check in to see how you're doing, and I hate that. Because I know they're going to be like, oh, but you know how you're drafting, you could add this and that, and you can make changes. And I'm like, can you just wait until I'm finished?
Yes. I anticipate the rejection. Like I anticipate it. It was like, I now work for my family and also with, and I have my own business. But when I worked like regular, corporate jobs, I would always be like, an email from my manager. I'd be like, what did I do? What did I do wrong? What happened? Mm-hmm.
And also, you're trying to read between the lines. Like, yeah, you're speaking this, but what do you actually mean?
Yes.
And most of the time, it just means what it means. It's just there, but you're kind of like looking for where is the criticism, which is that's another thing that I don't like. I'm constantly like thinking, I'm being criticized. I've been ignored, or I've not been taken into account when this decision was made, like all of those things. And when you have the conversation with a person, it's not like that at all. So it's very tiring. It's very exhausting. It's not an easy, thing to live with. But I guess that
I agree.
just knowing about it, it helps. It helps so much.
That's so it. I just wanted to add my little 2 pence. Can you hear me? Hope you can hear me. That's so interesting. And I'm so sorry you had to experience that with like a friend, Chichi, and just our experience when it comes with like RSD, because everything you guys said, it resonates. And I think of like how I show up as a friend and the friends that has shown up for me. And it's interesting because I process internally.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why, I don't know whether that's a trauma response from growing up. So rather than react by saying what I'm feeling, my sort of way of kind of like processing is to do it internally. But then also I think as well, sometimes because I can be quite honest, I don't want to say something that could potentially change the dynamics in the most horrible way. Yeah. So I'm the sort of person that's just like, actually, I want to process this internally before I say something that could really be detrimental to myself, where I get to a point where I regret it. And it can be really harmful to you if it's, said in a really horrible way. And just going about sort of my experience with it, it's so interesting because I think that experiencing RSD, the overthinking is insane.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Like, it's like 100. It's 101. Like, it's like, Doctor Strange when he's going through all those different time loops. Yes. It's literally how our brain is. That's literally what it is. It's just like we're coming up with different versions of what we think the outcome is going to be when it comes to someone saying something. And I'm someone that's just like, just be honest with me. Like, it's better
Yeah.
to be honest than to sort of beat around the bush or not be truthful. I think
Yes.
this is something us neurodivergent. I want to say ADHDers, people that have autism, we live for honesty because
Yes.
you're putting it out on the table to us. You're telling me A plus B equals C. And I know it's that. There's no hidden message. Whereas there's a lot of neurotypical people, and I don't want to generalize, but it feels like it's like they just want to give you crumbs and keep you second guessing.
Yeah.
So the second guessing keeps you sort of kind of like, I don't know where I'm going with this. What is happening here? Like, you're not giving me all the information. So I'm just like, and then it sends you into this time warp where you're now thinking of like, because they only gave me 15% of the information, I've now got to figure out the 75% because I've only got 25. So I'm just going to just sort of think about it. And I think of like a recent friendship, and I only sort of kind of like developed this friendship maybe in the last 6 years. And I'm the sort of person, if I like someone, if my spirit takes to someone,
Yeah.
I will contact them. People might think it's weird, but it's my own little weirdness. I guess it's like a little quirkiness thing I like to do. Like my spirit takes to you, so I immediately want to kind of like be your friend. So
Right,
I will
right.
I
I
will
that
just like
immediate
message.
thing.
Yeah, I would
Yes.
just message you and just be like, oh, I think your picture's great, or like you sound like an amazing person, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Just put it out there. If anything comes out of it, it comes out of it. If nothing does, it doesn't. Like it's
Yeah.
okay. At least I've extended a sort of kind of like a nice sort of thoughtful thing towards that person. And so with this particular
Absolutely.
person, I did that. And initially it was great. It was just like when we sat down, we spoke, it was just like so many similarities. I was like, oh my God, this person, I feel like I could have known this person for most of my life. This is just amazing.
Right.
And so the friendship progressed, and we had a holiday together. And I know when I'm on holiday, I can be that, and that's another thing. Holidays and friendship.
Holiday.
Holidays
You
and
can't travel
friendship.
with anybody. You can't travel with just anybody. Please, you cannot. Oh my
Honestly.
goodness. Oh
But
my goodness.
But the thing is, it wasn't necessarily like really bad. It was a decent holiday.
Yeah.
I just the traveler I am. I'm very much. I can go into my head quite a bit.
Yeah.
And also being a queer person in a country where the queerness is is open and it's not like frowned upon, but again there is a nervousness that
of
comes with traveling as
Yeah.
someone who's
Same
queer.
here.
So
Yeah.
that particular friend is very open, like she was making friends, and I'm not that kind of person sometimes. It's very, especially when my spirit doesn't take to people. My spirit don't take to people. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. So she's very much like that. And then during the holiday, I was just very kind of like, obviously time of the month, and I wasn't feeling very great in myself. So I don't know whether she had a great holiday with me. And coming off that holiday, the friendship shifted, and I noticed.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to have the conversation and explain myself, and just explain it wasn't about you. It's how I was and how I processed that holiday and what that holiday felt for me. I wish I could have shown up more, but unfortunately that didn't happen. And so I've been wanting to have this conversation. And every so often we are like, yeah, we'll catch up. Then all of a sudden things sort of started shifting in the sense that it was like, oh yeah, we're going to meet up soon. And the meetups never happened. And I was then chasing. And so once I noticed a shift, I'm like, okay, I want to address it, or you will not hear from me again. Like, there's never an in between. It's either we address it head on, or we go our separate ways. And so for a long time, I was trying to address it. So much so, at one point, she asked me to look after her dog last minute. And I dropped everything and I said yes. And this was like over like a 5-day period. I had a dog who was in heat. And when a dog
Oh.
is in heat, and her dog was a male dog, so
Ooh,
risky business. But
yes.
I said
Wow,
I will do it for my
yeah.
friend because
Right.
she had to travel for work and it was quite last minute. And I said, of course, I will be there for you. I will look after your dog. To which I did. She obviously
Mm.
came back from her trip. Came to pick up her dog. I kind of was just like, my dog was getting a little bit antsy because she's like, this dog is still here. And y'all know
Yeah.
Daisy. Daisy's a diva. She's like, this is
Aw.
my territory. Like, who
Aw.
is this other dog? So I was just like immediately like,
Daisy.
please, like, when are you coming to get your dog? Because, you know, my dog
That's a long time.
yeah, my dog run this house and she's had enough. You know what I mean? In the nicest possible way. And obviously she's like, oh, thank you so much for looking after my dog. Da, 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 da. And it was a few days before like Christmas. I didn't get a Christmas message from her saying Merry Christmas. I didn't get a thank you so much for looking after my dog message. Or even like, I'm the sort of person, again, if somebody's done me a favor and I've not paid them, I've not provided them with anything, wherever I'm at, I will bring a gift of like gratitude, like to say thank you so much. I know you must have had to do this out. Do you know what I mean? Didn't get any of that. So I was just like, rah, okay. I kept that in my head. And then things like cancelling on like catch ups that we were scheduled to catch up. And so the last straw was pretty much her cancelling on a catch up that we were supposed to have a catch up. And she was like, oh, yeah, no, I'll reschedule and I'll let you know. Are you free the following weekend? I was like, yeah. And I was just like, I am not going to chase because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not going to chase because the natural thing to do, us with our ADHD brain, is okay, I need to know the information so it's locked in and I remember. But at the same time, I need to protect myself because I can't keep feeling like I'm running after you like a lost puppy to be your friend if it's not reciprocated. And I didn't hear anything.
There you go.
And it made me feel sad because I would then see things. It's okay now because it's again. I also do this thing of out of sight, out of mind. So if you're not in my periphery, then you know. And then it goes into the thing of like. Also, another reason why I came off of social media is because, particularly Instagram, a lot of my friends or a lot of individuals that I considered my friends would kind of say, oh, you know, I just use like when you update on your stories, it just made me know that you were okay. Whereas that is not the version that I'm experiencing in real life. And I just thought that if that's what you're using as a way to check up on me, that says a lot. And to be honest with you, it just became a thing of like I didn't necessarily want to be on social media anymore. And I'd noticed every time we had hung out, this friend, we had hung out, and this isn't to say like I want my friends to post me on their status or whatever. I noticed she would never share our interactions, but when she was with other friends, I would notice particular friends, she was posting them, I'm out with my friend and this and da 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 da. And I just thought that's interesting. And so I sort of kind of piecing those things together. And I was just like, okay, this is good to know. In that moment, I like the build up. It's because I basically like started to build up a Bible of things. And I was just like, I felt really rejected because I was like, I opened myself up to you. We shared things and I was ready to, I wanted to have a conversation around something that I knew that a time where I felt vulnerable, and I wanted to share that with you and be like honest with you and have this open dialogue of like, look, it's not even kind of like, I'm going to put my hands up. I know that this is how I came across. You know, I'm the sort of person that I want to be able to have honest conversations with my friends and vice versa. And I felt rejected because I wasn't received because every time that I wanted to do that, I was met with something else, or I was met with, oh, let's schedule something in, we'll make it happen, I'm sure. And then cancelling, and then not happening.
Following up.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow when you're rejected by, I guess, chosen family, people that you choose
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct.
to be your family.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then it
That's
goes into
true.
the notion of like, did I choose wrong? Because then you now start to think, did I miss something? And then you
Yeah.
start to look inwards when
Yeah.
it's not even about you. It's
No.
got nothing to do with you, because you showed up the way you felt you could show up as a friend. It just says a lot about the other person and how
Yeah.
much they didn't really know you when it came
Yeah.
to the friendship. So sorry, I waffled on, but yeah,
No,
I just
no,
wanted to
it's
add
great.
my 2 pence.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's
Thank
funny.
you.
Well,
Thank you
some
so
people
much.
can't have those kind of intimate conversations. They just
Yeah.
can't. Like, they're just not ready for it, in their journey, and they just
Yeah.
can't,
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's that idea of like, I've heard this term, rejection is divine protection. And, sometimes it's like, okay, you've shown me who you are,
I love that. Rejection is
Yeah,
divine
yeah.
protection. I love
Yes,
that.
yeah. You show me who you are, and it's like, okay, thank you, because I
Yeah.
chase too. I call myself a peaceful puppy. I identify as a peaceful puppy. I love being a puppy. I don't want to lose that about myself.
Yeah.
However, I use the word peaceful because I'm trying to learn how to also chill with the chasing.
Yeah.
Because yeah,
Me
I
too.
was thinking of yes, chilling with the chase. I was thinking of a particular friend who, when we talk, like she's like, so interested in me, and she has a lot going on, and however, I noticed like we got to a point where I was the one always initiating the phone calls.
Okay.
And I'm just like, and then so I stopped, and I know she's been really busy and traveling. So I stopped, and I haven't heard from her like in months. And I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to be chasing after people and,
No.
feeling that, I don't know what it is, rejection, resentment. And so, yeah, because I do that when I take to somebody, I want to like be like, let's be friends instantly. Like, oh my God, tell me everything. Because I don't want small, I can do small talk, but I want big talk. Like,
I can't do small talk.
I'm a talker. I can do small talk, but
let's get deep into
I want to
it.
go deep as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I get, like tell me all your deep, dark secrets. I will tell you mine,
Yeah.
That is the best.
I know, so yeah.
I feel that's how you connect with people.
Yes.
That's how you do, like when you know the real person, and then that friendship just grows and grows and grows and grows.
Yeah. Then it's interesting, versus
is.
I watch this show. Okay, great. That's nice. But like, what else?
Yeah, but what else?
And also the beautiful thing in that is just like you be able to, like, depending on the capacity of the friendship, you'd be able to see that person grow internally as well. Like to be able to
Beautiful.
see someone deal with something and come out of it, and the version they come out of it. Like, I don't think we as human beings give ourselves enough credit to be able to see someone go through something and be able to see them at the end of it and see a version of them that is able to kind of go through whatever that situation, whether it's good, whether it's bad, you're able to see that. I think sometimes, like I'm probably speaking to myself, because I can be sort of like I'm dealing with something and I want to show up, but I don't know how to, or the version of me isn't ready to show up because I don't want people to experience that version of me because I don't feel good in that version of me. So I tend to kind of pull away, and some people are just like, no, I want to experience whatever you're dealing with. And it's not like I want to be like in there or anything. It's like, I just want you to respond to me and just say, I'm okay, or I'm just going for a rough patch. I promise I will come back to you.
Be honest.
Yeah. But some people just are kind of like, no, you can't see me on my darkest of days.
No.
So be going. And then that friendship just sort of like disintegrates, and then you're like, oh.
Yeah, I want to be able to hold space for people, and
That's
I want
it.
people to hold space for me. Like, sometimes I want to talk it through, but also, if I need space, like, like I don't need to talk, then I want the person to be able to do that, like have that flexibility, because I want to be able
Yeah.
to be that, but it's the communication is big. Like, just let me know, let me know. Let me
Yeah.
know. Don't, like what you were saying earlier, Jules, about the, or Anna, both of you maybe, about the whole, like, the second guessing, like, oh
Yeah.
my
Trying to figure
goodness,
out.
oh my goodness. I want to know, like, communicate, let me know.
Yeah.
It's cool. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to be anything, but let me know. Like,
Mhm.
and it's hard. I struggle even with communication myself, but I do try. And sometimes it's hard. Like, people don't want to communicate. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, yeah, I'm being more intentional about who I let in my life and who
Mm.
I give my energy to,
Yeah.
because, I need, some people are just not able to, like, communicate and let me know. And that's not the dynamic I want. I've been there, done that. And I want to be better. And, but
Absolutely.
also I've had to have the courage to try to have conversations. Like, I was thinking about a particular friend of mine who I love, and I would send her texts and stuff, and she wouldn't respond or call. And this was a different friend, but I finally had the courage to say something to her, and she was like, oh, thanks, other people have said that. So now,
Yeah.
like, she'll respond, or at least do a thumbs up or something, just so, like,
Yeah.
and that is great, because I love her and I know she loves me. And
Yeah.
yeah, but it's hard to have the courage, but it's important for the
Yeah.
friendships I want to keep, you know.
The ones you want to keep, absolutely.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of someone that I've known since I was, I was a child, and we've been in and out of each other's lives. Um, obviously, because I went to uni, then she went somewhere else, and she had a baby. Then I got married, and then she got married, and like things, life changes and stuff like and things like that, and misunderstanding with other friends, and then you're growing up, and then all of a sudden we're like adults, we're mature adults, and then we now know how to treat each other and how to talk to one another and how to respect each other. But like for the last 2 years, it's been the same way, like, where I have not been able to connect
Mm.
with her, and she's had like very, very horrible things happen. Like her dad had cancer, and
Mm.
he passed away sadly in December.
Mm.
And then my uncle was obviously going through the same thing, and my uncle passed away in
Oh,
January.
I'm so
And
sorry.
I've been trying to connect, and it's just not been possible. And just kind of like I've been asking, like, are you okay? Is there anything I can help with? Like, shall we meet up? Do you have any time to meet up? And it's just like, no, I've just been busy. You're just kind of like wondering, like, are you really busy, or you really don't want to continue this?
Yes.
But you still love that person, and I'm kind of what I decided is just give that person the space um that they need, or I guess they're going through the grieving, and I guess people grieve in a very, very different way. Like, for example, with my cousins and my uncle passing away, it's brought us together closer. Like, we talk to each other all the time. So that's just, I guess that's it works differently with different people. And I
Yeah.
just want to, I want to give them that grace. But yeah, it's just what you were saying, just not knowing that
Mm.
that's what you feel like, and obviously because you look at the lifestyle, and you look at your lifestyle, and you think, oh, is it something that I'm doing that they don't agree
Yeah.
with?
Right, right, right. Right, right.
But yeah, so yes, let me continue. So one way we can navigate RSD and friendship is first acknowledging you may have RSD, and being vulnerable with close friends you trust and letting them know. Let your friends know you have RSD, the things that trigger you, and some of the other symptoms that you notice about yourself. This
Mm.
level of vulnerability may take time to build up to open it. Honesty and sincerity are essential to authentic friendship. Opening up this way could also have a negative result, as some people close to you may use it to try to minimize your feelings, which is a sign to distance yourself from them. Another way you can navigate RSD with your friends is by asking for reassurance when you need it. Your friends who care about your feelings will give it to you. It's about trusting them to be there for you. So the question is, how else can someone with with ADHD open up about RSD? I'm leaving it open to both of you to to jump in on that one.
I'm happy to kick it off. For me, one of the ways I've been able to sort of share openly. So I have a really close friend who I'm so glad that they're in my life, and they also have a partner who has ADHD and who experiences RSD as well. So there's an understanding, and it's never met with, if I don't contact or if I don't reach out or if I'm feeling something, it's met with kindness and no, take your time, it's okay. Like, you know, why are you feeling that way? Or did something upset you? What happened? There's they are using, I guess, the tools to be able to kind of just like talk me off the edge of the cliff. So like things kind of like, or even when they haven't heard from me in like a day or two. And that could just be me in hyper focus mode where the only thing I'm looking at on my phone is TikTok videos and doing work. So I forget other people exist to the point where I even forget to eat. So it's just a drop in voice note like, hey Jules, you okay? Just checking in. I hope you're okay. Just stuff like that. And it not feel like I'm pressured to respond back to them. And with rejection, like I literally tell my friends all my experiences, like, because again, I'm a writer, so the rejection thing, hey, it's like you feel it as a writer, and I'm sure you feel it in other sort of kind of like work and sort of creative like
any kind of creativity,
spaces, but getting that rejection, having that feeling and not knowing how to express it, or you just say to that friend, oh, I've just been rejected again, and them sort of understanding and being in a space where it's not like, oh, maybe you should give up that thing because it's not working. It's meeting you with kindness and meeting you with like, there's always tomorrow. Don't think about it today. Or like, it's okay. Do something to look after yourself or treat yourself. And I have that sort of friendship not only with my said friend, I also have it with my sister. So my sister's I'm very close to my sister, but I also consider my sister my friend. So we're able to have that sort of space I'm able to kind of like have that space with her, and she can kind of meet me with grace. And so you're not always, and I guess caveat in that, someone obviously with RSD, it's not always going to be easy to share that with certain friends. But I think sometimes if you just have that one person you're able to offload that to, it makes the world. It just makes it simpler, because not that you want to put pressure on that one person, but it just makes it easier to be able to have that space to do so in a world where it's so fast paced. People are getting on with life, and it's just kind of like, no, well, you need to grow up and get on with it, and have that sort of sense of thing. So you don't, as the person who feels it, because the emotions, I think people don't realize the emotions that come with it, and like just how it makes you feel emotionally, and how it can even send you into a state of like anxiety and depression and feeling really low, because you can even like, I was just even thinking as we were talking earlier, like I was thinking of a moment when I was in school when a child pushed me as a kid and feeling rejected. Like those belting moments of flashback as experience as a child, to then feel that as an adult can still be hurtful, because the inner child in you is feeling that rejection as an adult. So you get to a place where it's just like, that feels really hurtful. And that child did that to me. And
Mhm.
I'm still thinking about something that happened 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's what it can feel like sometimes. So just finding that one person, one or two people that can fight your corner, it's just like, or just be in your corner and meet you with kindness and grace. It's just, it's nice to have. So I say that it's important to be able to get to a space to do that with someone. And if you do, don't feel afraid to continue doing that. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, that's a really good point, Jules. I totally agree with you about, you know, because of course in my brain I was like, oh, I have to tell all my friends. It's like, no, because I actually haven't really told any of my friends about the RSD. So it's a good reminder. But I like what you said about, you know, maybe just telling one or two instead of overwhelming myself. And so that's really a great reminder. And I also want to say the power of also self-soothing and self-compassion, because I think that is something that has really, really, really helped me. So I respond to words. You know, one of my love languages is words, so words of affirmation. I find that it helps me to give that to myself. You know, self-compassion is like I would talk to myself the way I would talk to a friend. Well, for me, like I parent myself, so like that loving parent that talks to me very sweetly. And then I remind myself that other people might experience it as well. I'm not alone. And then allowing my feelings, being with my feelings, and really like giving myself that babying that I want. I found that it really, really is a game changer for me. Like all that, oh, sweetie, you know, like I need it. And according to research, our brains don't know the difference. It releases oxytocin. So if I give myself that babying or somebody else does it, my brain still releases the same feel good hormone. So yay, you know.
Absolutely.
So because sometimes I really do think I'm too much. I know that's like a neurodivergent, you know, but sometimes I just really feel like I'm too much, and like it's a lot for one person to deal with all the stuff that I'd be going in my head, you know, and so having myself as another person, it's been amazing, you know, and so I'm like actually my ultimate best friend. Like I'm the one that I go to. I go within, you know, and then I also obviously have people that I talk to. And, you know, I've mentioned that I'm doing trauma release, somatic release work, and that has helped me release stuff. That has really been helpful with that sense of rejection. I come from a culture, I'm Nigerian American, and I come from, you know, I was born in Nigeria and I lived there till I was 15. And my culture is a lot of harsh words. That's just how Africans, I would say, you know, talk. Just it's more love is shown more with action, so like doing, but Nigerians can decimate you with their words.
Oh, girl, I know.
Decimate you with their words.
As a fellow Nigerian, I know.
Yes. Oh, I
So,
didn't know you were Nigerian too, Jules.
yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
Ah, so you know
So,
how that goes. So I'm
yep,
with you, Nigerian and queer. Me too. Me
yeah,
too, my sister. You know how that goes. Me too. So that's a whole other conversation.
yep.
We'll talk. But so yeah, like, so I come from a whole family of like people that like speak harsh words, but they show you with giving and love, you know, like a doing. And for a long time, I'm like, oh, my family doesn't love me. That's what I used to think. And it's like, no, now I'm like, they do, but I felt so rejected for so long. And, you know, trigger warning, just a trigger warning. Like, I remember an incident where hearing some really harsh words from a relative, like you know, and really, really, you know, words that would like, you know, really decimate anybody, but coupled with the RSD and everything, and where I was, like, I really went into suicidal ideation, you know, and I had to like, I called a suicide hotline. Yeah, thank you. So that is real, you know, those feelings, you know, are real, and I'm so grateful, you know, I didn't do anything to myself, and I got help from the hotline, but also like I also was able to release how, you know, dysregulated I was. But that's real. That's
Yeah,
real, it's real. It's real.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, the self-soothing is big. Like if I didn't have, it was like so late in the morning, like if I didn't have myself to be able to soothe myself and tools for that,
Yeah.
that would have been really, really hard for me and difficult. So
Yeah.
just wanted to
Well,
put a plug for that.
thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm really, really, really sorry that you went through that situation,
Thank you.
where obviously we are supposed to feel safe and secure with our loved ones, family. It's what we kind of rely on many times. And I sort of like, I have the same thing in a Latin American culture.
Hmm.
There is no filter, the
No filter.
second the auntie or whoever sees you, oh my God, but look how fat you are.
They
Like, what
love
are
to
you
talk about how fat you
eating?
are. Oh my
And
goodness.
or even it's like, even if you're like lost, even if you're slim, oh, but why are you so slim?
Oh, I had that.
That doesn't even suit you that well.
Hmm.
Oh, why are you wearing that hair that way? Why? Oh, your husband's gonna leave you if you don't listen. Like, they just go deep
Yep.
into things that are like, oh, that color does not suit you. Why the hell are you wearing that eyeshadow?
Hmm.
I remember so many situations like that. But I must say that my parents, my mom and my dad, have always worked on the words of affirmation side of things.
That's amazing.
So
I'm so lucky.
yeah. So my parents were always like, you are the best thing that's ever happened to us. You're gonna succeed because you're so smart. And like, for example, my parents knew, more specifically, my mom, she knew that I had a learning difficulty, but she didn't know what it was at the time, me growing up. It wasn't until like I was a fully grown adult that she was like, oh my goodness, I knew there was something. But she was always so loving about it. She would sit down with so much patience and teach me, and until I actually understood. And then she would grab things, if it was stones or coins, or make it visual so I could see and understand. So I'm so grateful for that. But as much as you come from a family, like for me, for example, my parents were so positive and so good about self-esteem and loving ourselves. But obviously you go to a family member and that family member is saying the opposite thing. You're kind of questioning, like, is it because they're my mom and dad and they kind of like love me, so they have to say that? So then they're also losing out, because as much as they're trying to do the best thing, you're hearing other people's voices, and that kind of sometimes be louder as well. But yeah, it's interesting how all of these things can come together. And what I've learned today is that I'm not alone. Like, there's three of us in this room today. A neurodivergent and have gone through the experiencing what RSD means, and we live with that day in and day out, which means that there is thousands and thousands of women, Black women out there who are going through exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Babes as well. So
non-binary folks as well. Yeah.
non-binary
Yeah.
folks. It's really refreshing to have these conversations and to know that we're not alone, that you can read more about it, that you can understand about it, you can tell your friends, your family members, look, okay, this is how, how I can come across sometimes, but this is what it really is, and be open and honest about it. As you were saying earlier, like, it's very
Well,
difficult.
if you feel safe to do
If you
so.
feel
I
safe
will
to,
say
yeah,
that.
100%.
If you feel safe to do
yeah,
so.
only if you feel
Please.
safe, because I was just going to say that it's only a few people that I've told about the RSD, and those are the people that I completely trust, because they've been in my life for a very long time, and also because they have ADHD, and also because they've gone through the same thing, so we can openly discuss it and talk about it. But that's it. And now obviously the podcast.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah.
So I found interesting that on top of the fact that it's very difficult to navigate friendships, this is another layer that we have to deal with as people with ADHD and neurodivergent folks.
Yes.
So yeah, there's definitely more to learn about it. more to
Yeah.
talk about it, and we should keep the conversation going.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
do
And
want to share, I do want to
Go ahead,
mention
Jules.
one quick thing. I, going back to what you said, Chichi, around kind of like family and the way family talk to us, especially as like even being undiagnosed at a young age and hearing that
Yes.
information and how that felt in that time, and also having the RSD now looking back. I think something I know that I want to do different is if and when I do have kids, is
Yeah.
understanding how each individual kid wants to be loved
Oh, I
and
love
how they
that.
receive
So
love.
100%.
I think sometimes, and I think also considering the dynamics or the things that parents go through, it could be work, it could be all of these different elements. I think sometimes you just look at your kid and you think, this is how I'm supposed to love my kid, and I'm just going to go. Whereas everyone's sort of prime example, love languages. We all have
Yeah,
different love languages.
we do.
Yeah.
We do.
You know, how it shows up in the kid is so important, because those are our formative years. Those are the ways we pick up things and we understand and we love ourselves. And if your parent is providing that love in the way you need that love, so for example, for me, it was a mixture of both. It was that seeing my parents show action, and then also saying, even kind of just having interest in what I loved doing as a kid. I didn't have space for that. So being able to have that, or have that, my parent understand that, would have just been so nice. So I think that what I now look at, and then again, it's with the work of therapy, it's with the work of kind of like sort of really looking inward and understanding that as much as I'm trying to work through my ADHD, being neurodivergent, also dealing with like trauma and trying to kind of just like process that stuff as well, the
Yes.
version of me that hopefully goes out into the world is going to be a version that is reflective of what hopefully I would like to show on to others. So even kind of like with children, with nieces, nephews, cousins, all of that stuff, it's just being able to identify that I need to love that person in that way, and that person understands the way I love. And so there's not a sense of feeling rejected when somebody at least is able to understand the way you love and is able to provide that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I just wanted to caveat that
Totally.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And I do want to say, just in case people listen don't know what we're saying by about love languages. So the book that I learned about love languages is The 5 Love Languages. It was written by Gary Chapman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can just, search it on the internet, Google it. There's, there's a website, and other people have talked about love languages, but that's what we were referring to with love languages, 5 love languages. And there are different versions of the book now. There's one for like kids and, parent and child relationships and romantic relationships, blah, blah, blah. So it is really heteronormative, just a caveat, but it's really, really helpful. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so that is just, I wanted to, and there's also a concept of self-love languages as well. So
Yeah.
this is something you can look up as well.
Thank
I
you
love
for
that.
that, Chichi.
Yes,
Thank you for
yes,
that, Jules. It's been an amazing, amazing conversation today. Thank you so much for joining. Could you please tell the audience how they can contact you, or how can the people can get in touch with you through your social media?
yes, I will
If you have
start.
any.
Yes, I do have social media. So I'm Chichi. Chichi Enu is my last name. So ENU is my last name. And you can find me on YouTube. That is my primary platform. And Instagram and TikTok with the handle at Chichi Enu. So that is CHICHIENU. CHIENU. I don't know why I was saying so CHIEN as in Nancy U. So on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And yeah, would love to.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Chichi. And Julez?
You
can find me on the podcast because I don't have social media.
Jules does not have social media.
I don't have social media.
Well, maybe that we can give the podcast like email address in case anybody has any questions. Do we ever put that?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Okay. So you can email Julez at the podcast email address and someone will
Absolutely.
get to her.
Yeah.
Get to
There we go.
them.
Yeah. We want to hear from you and how you have navigated your RSD and friendships. Have you been able to be vulnerable with your friends about your RSD? If you'd like to join ADHD Babes and learn more, you'll find the link to our website and social pages in the show notes, as well as visiting ADHDBabes.com. Thanks for listening and catch you next time.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast. If you're a Black woman or non-binary person and need help and support in managing your ADHD or advice on diagnosis, please visit ADHDBabes.com. No clinical diagnosis is required to join. Join us in 2 weeks for a new episode. Until then, all the love from the ADHD Babes team.
Just as I am, can you take me just as I am?